Hey guys, so welcome to tonight's Pizza Roll Diaries with my good old friend Eli. He's going to be with us momentarily. He was having some problems with his hotel internet, which, it happens. You go to a fancy schmancy hotel and they can't keep up with our internet needs. So, it's all good. It's all good. So I figure while we're waiting on Eli, because he's going to go through his phone internet, or whatever it was. So we'll see if that works. So in the meantime, we will shoot through the people and see who's all here tonight. And first off, I want to thank everybody for joining me. And for those of you who didn't tune in last night to the Fan of Film Get Together, ignore what I'm about to say. For those of you that did, I feel like I need to owe you an apology. It wasn't a good night for me. So yeah, thank you for being understanding. It just wasn't a good night. I usually tend to stay off of YouTube. I tend to stay off of Facebook when I'm not having good nights, and it just wasn't a very good night for me. So thank you for being understanding, and thank you very much for joining me tonight. I'm very excited to have Eli on. I'm very excited to be here with all of you guys, and fuck, man, it's great to be here. It's great to do what I do and chat with a wonderful audience with you guys. So that being said, we've got good old Daniel Vance here saying good evening, everyone, and welcome. Yes, welcome all of you guys. We got Frank Parker Jr. saying hi, all. Well, hello, Frank. How are we doing? Commodore Grissom, or should I say Admiral Grissom? I don't know. Either way, this is one of Menard's arch nemesis here. I don't trust the guy. Nah, I'm just kidding. We talk all the time on the phone. I love the guy to death, man. Then we got good old William Jackson saying, "What's happening, Captain?" Well, I'm sure he's probably talking to maybe Frank or maybe me. I don't know. But hey, what's up, man? How we doing? Let's see. We got Daniel Parker or Donna Parker saying, "Hi, Vance." Well, hi. And I wanted to let you know that when I did talk to Royce tonight on the phone, I did give him a hug from you. So he did get your message there. Oh, here we got Eli coming in. Give me 1 second, guys. How we got it, Eli? Are we good?
Hey, are any better now?
Dude, I can hear you. You're not. You don't got that max headroom thing going on. So I think we're good. I think we're good. Say, good deal, man. So if we have a little bit of technical glitches, that's okay. It's the Pizza Roll Diaries. Pizza, people expect that from me sometimes, so it's all good. But I'm just glad to have you on, man. So let me get through. Some of these people here who've left some comments. Give me just 1 second, brother.
Sure,
let's see. We got. Let's see. Daniel Vance says, "Buckle your seatbelts." Let's see. Daniel Vance says, "We love you, Vance. You don't owe us a thing." Well, that's the thing, Daniel. Because I love you guys, I really, I felt the need to. Eli, we lost contact. We lost contact with Eli again. I'm sure he'll get back on with us, man. Just shoot back the link, Eli. So let's see. We got Jim's Landscape LLC #1. Hello, everyone. Commodore Boone here. Commodore Boone, hello. Welcome to the chat tonight. We got Jeff Mitchell. Hi, all. He says. Then we've got William Jackson in the chat here tonight. Then let's see. We got Scott Johnson. Hola, V. Well, hola, Scott. How we doing? Using those big fancy schmancy words there. Oh my goodness. All right, and then we got Claude Sailing. Hi, all. Well, hey, what's up, man? Feel like it's been a while since I've seen you, brother. It's good seeing you. All right, and then we got, let's see. I always feel like my eyes always get kind of blurry, but I'm going through these comments here. So, all right, so I think we've got everybody here. Yep, reestablishing subspace connection, Daniel Vance says. Yep, absolutely. So, all right, yep, Eli is back and blessing me with his presence here. So, all right.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's they don't show up for me, man. They show up for the guests. Like I'm a guy who can ramble all day long, So all right. So for the channel of what we got coming up for my channel this coming month, we got full cast of February and March for the Pizza Roll Diaries. So I'm scheduled through that. I got some people for April. So if you guys are enjoying what we've been doing on the guests every week, sometimes twice a week for Pizza Roll Diaries, like stay tuned. Every Monday at 9 a.m. we've got a guest, and then occasionally on a Saturday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, of course. Stay tuned, and it's just me bullshitting with my friends that I've met in the fan film community about whatever they want to talk about, just life in general. Because with the 2000 or the 2020 COVID shit, we need to stay together as a community, and just, connect as people, because it's easy to lose touch, when you can't get a hug or a handshake, or, sometimes, I kind of miss the old high school wedgies, Eli, I'm looking at you, man. I need that. So, it's important to stay connected these days,
Hey, I am no stranger to the high school wedgie.
Oh, we have Ian Mitchell in the chat. He says, "Good evening, folks." Well, Ian, welcome, man. I'm glad you could make it, man. And Scott Johnson has probably the most important question of the night. And I had asked you earlier, but I think the audience needs to hear. How was the Dreadnought Dominion shoot? My good friend Randy, Gary, how was their shoot?
The shoot today was absolutely amazing. As you know, we're at Neutral Zone Studios in Kingsland, Georgia. We're actually filming shots for 2 episodes that are coming up this weekend. For one is called Passenger with Baggage, which sees the return of Frank Parker as Commodore Grissom, and then a number of guest stars are appearing in another episode, the name of which will be released very soon, and it went very well. In addition to Neutral Zone Studios, we are utilizing the Glenn County Career Center, which is located in Brunswick, Georgia. They have a glorious green screen center there, a green screen studio that they use in order to teach high school students about filmmaking and film editing and so forth. And they have graciously allowed us to come in there and use their green screen studios so that we can film big, wide virtual sets inside their studio. And it is soundproof. They've gone way above and beyond the call of duty of accommodating our needs and being there for us. And I'd like to give a special shout out to the teacher and the sponsor of that program there. His name's Kevin Poland, and just a tremendous gentleman, and all the students of the AV program at Glenn County Career Center.
So how many people did you have total on set this weekend? Because I know with the whole social distancing thing, like they say not to have too many people, but I know, like Gary and Randy, did they have the full bridge crew there this time, or was it like everyone getting together for?
We did not have a full bridge crew like we normally do. We had key spots, and we had a couple of extras. We have been taking great pains to manage our interactions. What with COVID going on, we've mandated masks. We are practicing social distancing inside the studio. Anybody that doesn't need to be in the studio isn't. And we're observing all the protocols and trying to go above and beyond the call of duty of what has been asked of us, not only by scientific community leaders and the CDC, but also Camden County Health and other entities too, that have asked people to just be responsible. And we've tried to be responsible and respective of what we need to do. Because if I'm really frank and really honest, just to kind of talk about Dreadnought Dominion, we've got a few people on that cast who are considered at risk, and we want to take care of our actors very deeply, right? Because we love absolutely everybody there. Much like No Budget Productions shoots, everybody with Dominion Media shoots. It's a close-knit family, and right. I can't imagine what one of us would feel like if we managed to bring this to somebody. So we've been we've been very careful to be very observant of what's going on.
So what you're telling me is you're able to show that you can still shoot safely in a pandemic.
Yes.
Contrary to some of the naysayers, I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We have been getting through our shots perfectly. We have been. It's not the same kind of up in your face togetherness, that kind of thing that
Right.
we normally have going on shoots, but it's not this boring socially distanced thing either. We're getting through the dialogue. We're having a little bit of fun in between the dialogue too. Shoot, we've gotten some really good outtakes, even with just the small number of people that we've had, and it's been absolutely wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what you get Randy and Gary together, and those guys are a laugh a riot. I swear, those guys are.
The joke of the weekend has been Randy is old. So
Now, you said you were filming two films.
Yes.
One had the return of Frank Parker as Commodore Grissom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a guy who.
And his
Go ahead.
and I'm sure he'll correct me in the chat. I'm having a little bit of a brain skip. His lovely wife is reprised her role as the doctor from previous two, and those two characters. And well, I don't want to tell you any more about that because it'll be a spoiler for the episode. But suffice to say that the Parker family is back with us, and we could not be happier. I'm just now getting to know them, and have just enjoyed every moment with them since I've met them and gotten to play on Dreadnought with them.
Yeah, I know the spoiler you're talking about. I was thrilled that was included in the when I was talking with Gandhi, when I was talking with Gary about it, I was like, yay! And it's funny when you see the things, that get kind of spitballed behind, production, like on the phone and just in general, and then you see it on the screen, you're like, oh man, I'm excited as a fan because I'm a fan of Dreadnought Dominion. I've been a fan of, from the very beginning, and so looking at it from. Of course, I'm sure you've seen the very first, with Frank and, seeing him fly up to the Dreadnought Dominion and take over in the very first film that they did, Anchors Aweigh, and the other one, I forget which one he was a part of. But what was it like working with a returning Frank Parker?
I got to be honest. I was having watched. Before I got involved with the Dreadnought Dominion,
what?
Before I got involved with the Dreadnought Dominion production, 2 years ago, I had gone through the Dreadnought Dominion library and watched all those episodes, and I came into Dreadnought Dominion as a PA, and even now my character is still developing and kind of doing a little bit more. I got to occupy a seat this time on the bridge with dialogue. So, but to speak to your question about working with Frank, I have to say that I was at least a little bit starstruck from Fan Filmlandia, because not only did Frank have this role of Commodore Grissom for years, but he was also very deeply involved with the production of Starship Farragut at Neutral Zone Studios, which was Farragut Studios back in the day.
Right.
And the stories that get told of the wonderfulness that occupied the sets and the crew and the days of shooting Farragut was absolutely amazing, and I love hearing those stories. And a lot of them have included Frank and his wife, and I'm just enamored. And Frank's a lot of fun to work with. I mean, don't let him fool you. He's got a razor sharp wit, and I've enjoyed every single minute of working with him.
Well, I think that's one thing that, because I've worked with Gary and Randy on several different projects, and I've talked with Frank quite a few times on the phone. I feel like I've gotten to know his personality some, but I've never got to work with those guys, you know, as a group. So I think you're one of the few people that's gotten to work with them as a group. So it's like you're the envy of me at this moment, man. Like that's you know, that's a feather in your
Oh,
cap that
how the
not many
tides
people.
have changed.
You're upstaging me at this point, man. You are. So something else that you have, something else that you've done that not many people have done is you filmed at two separate studios. You filmed at both the Neutral Zone and you filmed at Warp 66.
That's right.
What is it like filming on two different type of bridges? Like, is it as some people have said, which is, oh my God, it's the bridge of the Enterprise, or do you sit there and you're like, oh, that's a difference, that's a difference, that's a different? Because for me, whenever I go on set, I've been on set so many times now, I don't even, like the first time I went on set, it was, you know, I was completely enamored. I was taken in that world, and you know, I was like, man, I feel like I could fly off the Earth because I'm on the bridge of the ship. You know, now I go on set and I'm like, okay, we got to fix this, we got to change this, we got to do this, we got to, like, I'm just in production mode. What is it like for you as an actor to go on set now? Is it kind of the same thing, having been on two different sets, or do you kind of nitpick like I do? Because I hate the fact that I can't enjoy it. I feel like it's when I go to like the movies, I can't enjoy a movie nowadays because I'm sitting there like nitpicking things and kind of tearing it apart. What is it like for you?
For me, it's been a little bit of the opposite. I don't make any pretense of the fact that whenever I walk on to Neutral Zone sets, or if I walk on to Warp 66's sets, one of the things that happens to me is I walk through the doors going into the corridor before you get to any other part of the sets, and I'm 12 years old for a while.
Yes.
And I'm just kind of looking around because you know, when I was a teenager and I'm first introduced to Star Trek, this phenomenon, this movement has literally saved my life in more ways than I can even begin to imagine. It's given me focus and it's given me hope for the future, and it's allowed me to meet some really wonderful people that I would never have ordinarily would never have met. Insofar as the difference between the sets, there was another actor recently who was talking about this exact phenomenon, and it was Vic Mignogna from Star Trek Continues, who was giving a walkthrough of the sets from a recent fan appreciation day at Neutral Zone, and he was pointing out the importance of he was pointing out that the fact that if your stories are relevant and if your stories have a lot of substance to them, then the audience begins to not, the sense is the audience doesn't begin to notice the sets.
Right.
And me as an actor, I feel that way, is that I'm not paying attention to what's going on with my sets. I'm trying to remember to do things like make what I'm emoting and make the dialogue that I am reciting seem real, and to the point to where you can really feel it and feel like that you are in the moment with me as an actor. And I feel like that if when I'm giving some dialogue or if I'm in a scene, excuse me, and somebody is paying attention, oh well, look at that valve construction on the wall there. That thing is just turned a little bit too far to the left. I bet Bill Thies is just turning in his grave. So if that's the case, then probably I'm probably not doing my job as an actor.
Right.
And so whenever I'm in front of the camera and I'm doing my bit, that's where my mind is. But the other end of it is that both facilities have a tremendous amount of love pumped into them.
Yes.
By people that love what they do and they love Star Trek and they want to give back, and they have this drive to give back to the community with what they have been blessed to do. And right. I'm thankful to have the opportunity to be able to shoot in both places.
Well, like my experience has been each set is it's kind of like their spin on things. Like it's slightly different, but for me, I like I said, I go and I'm more into pre-production. I'm like, okay, we have to fix this for a certain scene or specific. But to me, it's I always love the slight differences, because it's kind of like for like my CGI artists, like I know the difference between the models of the CGI, but I always tell my artists, because they're like, hey, do we need this? And I'm like, I don't care. It's up to you. Like you decide. It doesn't matter to me. Because to me, it's kind of like artists who in the 1980s, when I first got into comics, I loved Batman, and each artist had their own interpretation of Batman. It was all still Batman. I didn't care if it was Batman in blue underwear and gray tights, or if it was Batman in all black, or if it was Batman with long ears or Batman with short ears. To me, it's all Batman, and I loved it all. I soaked it all up like a sponge. And that's the way I see the differences in the sets. And you're absolutely right. Those the people that get so in tuned of, well, this is a quarter of an inch off, and scrap the whole thing. Fuck it, who cares? I mean, look at go ahead.
And if you look at both, if you do look intently at both sets, and if you were to stop and do like a frame by frame comparison, oh yeah, you will absolutely find the differences between the two. There are very definitive artistic interpretive differences that the builders of both sets have exploited in order to sell their stories. The two names that come to my mind when I think about Neutral Zone and the building of those sets over the last 12 years now are a gentleman by the name of Greg Green, who volunteers with us sometimes, and also somebody who is with us tonight is our best boy, Royal Weaver, who both of those gentlemen have. Royal's been with that production since the beginning, and maintains that studio gloriously. There are different artistic things that he does with the construction and the maintenance of the sets that Glenn and Dan did.
I think we're cutting out. Is anyone else? Are we cutting out? Can anyone comment? Or okay, I think we got you back. Say something.
Okay, cool. Good.
Okay, yeah, we got you. Okay, good. Just go ahead and repeat the last thing you were talking about.
Oh yeah, sure. But no, I was talking about. I'd called out two names specifically that had helped build the sets at Neutral Zone. Greg Green, who was on Farragut, and Royal Weaver, who is our best boy and our station manager at Neutral Zone. And what Greg and Royal have done may artistically be different from a building standpoint and from an art standpoint than what Glenn Wolfe and Dan Reynolds do. But that does not necessarily make it wrong. It means that there's an artistic difference that exists, and both of those facilities are designed to tell the stories that go on in those facilities. So it's glorious.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I love. You see the love and you see the passion that they have. I tell you, when I was down at Ray's, when you go down the and this is so dumb, but I tell anyone that when I'm like, no, when you go down to the studio, you have to do this. Just walk down the corridor. It really does go on forever. And you know me, dude. I'm a big dude. For me to feel like a child inside the corridor, that says something, because it just goes on forever and ever and ever. And it's like you're just taken back to your childhood. And I don't care if you grew up on TOS, TNG, or DS9. Like you're taken back to a simpler time where it's just like, damn, like I'm a kid. It's such a great place to go to feel that experience. I don't like Disneyland. I don't like I don't like amusement parks, Six Flags. I don't like those places because I really don't like to be around people. It annoys me. Crowds bother me. But this place,
Yeah.
but I know you go to those places to feel like a kid, but this place, it made me feel like a kid. You know what I mean?
Well, exactly. And I'm sort of the same way. The older that I've gotten over the years, the less I feel, the less inclined I feel to go and inject myself into the presence of a large number of people, specifically for an entertainment value. Oh, and Vance, I think it's you that's cutting out, brother.
Hot dog, do you hear me now? How am I on your feed?
I got you.
Okay, how about everybody in the comments? Am I good now? I am so sorry. I don't know what is up with the internet going on. Like, damn, how is everything going on at home, guys? Leave a comment. Is it good
Well,
now?
y'all just got internet in Kansas
Okay.
yesterday, didn't you?
Okay. Damn.
Oh,
well, I am filming from my car, so it's okay. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, Kansas. Yeah, fucking Kansas. Damn.
Oh man. But at any rate, I've got, as I said, as I've gotten older, I've gotten to the point now where I don't particularly enjoy injecting myself into large crowds in order for the fun factor, as it were. However, whenever I gather with Dreadnought Dominion, or whether I gather with Constar Chronicles, or if I try to bring the dialogue.
Fucking Frank! God damn it!
What was I telling y'all about Frank and his razor sharp wit, dude? I'm telling you.
I know. Yep.
But whenever I gather, whether it is with Dreadnought Dominion or whether it is with Constar Chronicles and No Budget, or if it's with Victoria Fox and Joshua Irwin with the Avalon Universe, or if it's with whatever else is going on at Warp 66, what I feel is a sense of people getting together to have fun and enjoy each other's company. And I think everybody who's involved with all those productions does what they do in order to kind of foster that. I know that Ray insists on that in Neutral Zone, and so does Glenn at Warp 66. And and that's the feeling that I came away with from both places. Is it's very easy for me to make friends with multiple productions across multiple studios and just be able to work and have some fun and just love the day.
Well, that's what ever since I was when it was back in Oklahoma City, when it was old Starbase, and I felt that the fan films, when I met Scott Johnson and Richard Wells and Michael King and that's why I did the first Promenadicon that was there, and invited Gary and Randy to come up to host a table that was there, and I really wanted a sense of community because it's like I finally felt like I belonged.
And I want to call
because Sure.
I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Before I forgot,
No, you're fine. No, you're good.
I wanted, because 2 summers ago at Neutral Zone, we filmed one in a series of Tales from the Neutral Zone, which is Ray's production. And two summers ago, we did the episode The Looking Glass. And when we were doing The Looking Glass, we had the privilege of having Scott Johnson and, God rest his soul, Glenn Miller and David Cox and Michael King present with us during that shoot. And getting to know those gentlemen and being able to hear the Oklahoma City Starbase Studio stories told as well, I found that interesting, and I feel like that I would have absolutely adored being at Starbase Studios too, just from having met those people. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot from interacting with them during that shoot. I learned a lot about what goes into fan films by listening to each one of these groups of people as I've had the opportunity to interact with them. And so there's that too.
I tell you, there's nothing, there's nothing quite better than in the wintertime. You have to huddle around this giant long space heater that looks like a dildo, and you have to huddle around each other for body heat because you're so, it's creepy and yet satisfying at the same time. So it's fun because it brings you together in a way. Because in that old building there was no heat, there was no AC. And the first time I wore my uniform, I really had that Worf mentality when he's on Risa, when he doesn't take off his Starfleet uniform. And he's like, Starfleet uniforms are made with comfort in mind or some shit like that. So I didn't take my uniform off. I was like, fuck no, I've never been in a Starfleet uniform. I'm wearing this thing all the way through rehearsals and filming and everything. And dude, I overheated because it was like 110 degrees in that fucking building. And I'm like, good God, I fried like a hot dog. Like, but like that building, like as much as it was kind of run down and it was, no heat, no AC, like, yeah, it's like such good memories. Because it's like those, you look back and you're like, I never knew that I could love how miserable I was,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Scott Johnson, no bathroom. That's not true, Scott. We did have a bathroom of sorts. One, we had the Sonic across the way. And then two, we had the parked trailer outside that was a watering hole. So we did have a bathroom. So it was different. It was different.
Since we're playing it fast and loose with the broadcast, I decided I was going to drink while I was going to have my Pepsi. Here, product placement while it moves on camera. So
there you go. So
I've earned this damn Pepsi. We did a 12-hour fucking shooting day. Thanks, Randy.
Only 12 hours? That's not a fan film, damn it. Get with the program. Where's your 18 and 25-hour day shoots? Come on, where's your heart? Come on.
Both ways in the snow. And God damn it, we liked it.
Right? Oh my God. See, that's the type of stuff where, like, we look at how good we have it now, where it's like we've got these glorious sets and we've got, like, I never would have thought like I'd be in engineering, at Neutral Zone. And I've had the, Ray, bless his fucking heart. Like, he paid for me to come out one year. And it was at one of the, in fact, I think that's where I met you the first time. If I'm not mistaken, at one of the open houses. I think it was the first one, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the second.
It was the very first fan appreciation weekend that Ray had done since he assumed control of the studio from Trek Continues Productions.
Yeah. And it was like I had told him, I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to make it up there, and I feel like shit because I'm the only engineer. Eli, we're losing you, man. Eli.
There we go. Now we're back.
Welcome back, Eli. It was slow-mo just going down. I was like, this couldn't be better if it was planned.
I know, right?
But it was
called Eli forgot his damn tripod for the iPad.
That's okay. It's okay. See, that's what that's almost like fan filmmaking. Like you shit falls apart and you're like, we'll fake it. It's all good. We'll
fix it in post.
I've never heard that before.
Oh, really? Oh, man. That must get sent on Dreadnought shoots.
Yep.
And Neutral Zone shoots. That must get sent
all the time.
Once every 10 minutes. Fuck it. We'll fix it in post.
Yep. You need to record it once so then you can just play that so you don't get, sore throat from saying it so many times. No, I've heard that too so many times where the first time I heard that, I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? What? What does that, what? And yeah, now that's
what are you talking about? Post what? Post apocalypse? Because that's what this scene was.
Right? Like, no, if they're a full string doll for fan film shit, yeah, no, that's no. but no, like Ray had he paid for me to come down, because he knew how much it meant to me to come, and see the engineering sets, and then I was able to be part of Randy and Gary's film for Dreadnought Dominion. That's why, like, everybody, if you have the chance to go support that studio, um, please go do it. Neutral Zone Studios. Um, Ray is, he's a good guy. He's got a good heart. The studio sets are great. The people down there are great. You know, there's something for you. There's something if you've ever wanted to make a film. A good film, a bad film, it doesn't matter. Just go make a film.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
that's the thing. There's plenty of people out there who's always willing to give a little bit of advice, to help you make your vision, for what you want to make. I think Eli can attest, with how many different people are out there, with different productions.
What?
They'll help you get it done.
Absolutely, that is absolutely correct. And it's not just our three productions. There are so many out there that are turning out so much great content.
Yep.
Potemkin Pictures, the Outpost stuff, the other Dominion Media stuff that Randy Rand has done outside of Dreadnought Dominion. Frank Parker is has started his own production. You should give your production a shout out in the chat, Frank. This is your moment. But there are lots of people doing this, and they're all putting their spin on it, and they're telling their story. Did we use the STFU today? No, we did. Oh no, we did not use the STFU. The STFU is the bell system. You have laying around. I'm trying to. Scott, you're going to remind me what it stands for. I can't remember the. Starfleet, Star Trek Film Unit.
Oh, okay.
Star Trek film. That's the Star Trek Film Unit. Quiet on the set bell, as in shut the.
Oh, okay.
But so the point I was trying to make is over the years that I've been involved with different fan films, one of the comments that I often see in discussion forums and so forth is they'll compare. There are a small number of people that'll compare fan films to what Berman has done, to what Braga has done, and what these professional productions have done, and why can't it be more like TNG or DS9 or TOS or Enterprise or some of the more established shows? It's like, A, we're not trying to be them. We're trying to tell our story. We're trying to tell our story. B, we don't have bad robot production company budgets. For the most part, every single one of our productions is crowdfunded. The last two, Gary is paid for almost completely out of his pocket, and that gets expensive. So we lean on doing what we can do with the resources that we have, but honor the story and honor Star Trek. There it is, Crossroads, Phil Ferret Productions. Yes. If y'all don't subscribe, if y'all don't follow Frank Parker and his stuff, make sure you do, because he's gonna be doing some great stuff with Crossroads and Phil Ferret. It's gonna be wonderful. But we rely on our ability to tell stories and to tell good stories, and honor what has been done before us. Not necessarily parrot what was done before us.
Well, the thing about it, and you're absolutely right. You brought up Potemkin Picture. You have Randy Landers, who tells very different stories from, say, what Gary Davis does, or from I forget who's those new people that it's during the Dominion War, I believe it is. I haven't quite seen it. The CGI looks really, really well done. They just released it a couple days ago. I forget the name of it. I'm terrible with names.
I
but
can't. I
it,
can't
I
remember
think
it
it's
either. I have to admit I'm a little bit behind on my viewing
mhm.
because of how busy I've been. But I know I've heard some stories
Busy,
about what they've
right?
got going on.
Yeah, but it's that's like that one there. Like though that's a very different story than like what Dreadnought Dominion or a Potemkin Pictures is, or like what David Whitney did with Raven, or what uh, Wolf and Dan are doing, or from what Avalon is doing, or from what I've done, or just like Nick Cook, Robin Hurd, all of those people, like there's or George Kyan. Fuck Ian.
You're not wrong,
I do.
Ian.
I do. I do. I do. But at least I'm not dropping my monitor, Eli.
Oh, fuck you, man.
But yeah, Squadron. That's it. Thank you, Frank. Thank you. Yeah, Squadron. There's so many different there's so many different fan films out there. And there's so many different people where if you just reach out and you ask them, hey, what do we have to do to make this work? Or hey, I'm interested in being an actor, or hey, I'm interested in being an extra. They're willing to just fill a spot. Or anything. Yeah, Ian Mitchell says Squadron looks awesome. It does. It really does. It looks legit, like straight up legit. Those the thing that I wouldn't want any fan film to mimic what they're doing for next gen, or DS9, or any of the Trek, or even modern Trek. I mean, you can add to it, but don't mimic it, because it's like you put your own spin on it, because that's part of the beauty of like Lee Gartrell's Romulan Wars. I love that, and I see that as just as valid as, like, say, an Avalon Universe film,
Right.
or something of that. Um, all those are just as valid, because it's just someone's interpretation. Yes, a limited budget does sometimes hinder what they can do. And trust me, I know better than a lot of people. Like, a small budget sucks, but sometimes it makes you more creative. Um,
Yeah, but who else besides you can say you've done an entire production in a weekend for under $1,000?
very true. Not true. Not true. We bought Little Caesars. Remember, Little Caesars. So it's
Oh, okay.
which, most of it I took home with me, because everyone's like, "Ah, fuck this cardboard pizza." No, I don't want it. It's not good. No bashing Little Caesars. I love Little Caesars. So don't sue me, Little Caesars.
Yeah,
Um,
go buy
but
lots of Little Caesars, please. Unless you're Little
dude, look,
Caesars in Kingsland, Georgia. Little Caesars, Kingsland, do better.
I feel like there's some underlying animosity. I feel like on the next Pizza Roll Diaries you come on, we need to discuss. So what's the hostility between you guys? Like, what's going on here?
I
So
don't want to. I don't want to say specifically because I don't want to get pounded by Little Caesars franchise for bad mouthing them. They know what issues they have to solve. Be better.
yeah, Scott Johnson brings up, yeah, Michael King. Yeah, no, Michael King. Yeah, Michael King is one of the best. Like, I think Michael King tells better story. Like, and it's no disrespect to what's being put out there now.
Yeah.
I think Michael King is probably one of the better storytellers out there. Um, and it's no disrespect. Like, I enjoyed Star Trek Picard. I know a lot of people are gonna crucify me for saying that. There were aspects I didn't like the Icheb scene. There was a lot of things that I disagreed with, where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'd go that direction, but whatever.
I didn't mind the Ichib scene so much as I minded that they did not use the original Ichib actor.
I wish they would.
Personally,
I wish.
minded that a lot.
See,
If for no other reason, then why recast? Of course, I don't know what the politics was behind it, but
well,
I was really disappointed in CBS's decision to not use him. And because there was this campaign on Twitter to get him into Picard for that, even if they were going to kill off the character, and they just overlooked it completely. And it's like, why do that?
Yeah. Well, they did use like the one. I wish they'd used Manu. Um, just because like I mean I'm not best buds with him, but like I drew a picture for him and he's like, oh man, that's cool. And I've shown him a couple of my films before they're released and he's like, oh dude, I'll watch them. And he's giving me feedback, like, so like I love the fact that he's so accessible to people who communicate to him.
Yes.
I love that. I know some people don't have that opinion of him. I do. um Again, I'm not we don't talk all the time on the phone. We don't we're not we're not we don't have sleepovers on the weekends. But I like the guy. I consider the guy like, man, if I have a question, I feel like the guy would respond. That
And
being said, I wish they had used him. However, I appreciate the fact that they used the guy who played Future Icheb in that one episode where Chakotay is kind of bouncing around in the different times in Voyager. Like I appreciated the fact that at least they stuck to their own continuity there. I do wish they had used Manu though, just because it's like we know this is Icheb. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
most people don't realize that, hey, that's the future Icheb from the future Voyager in that one space segment from that Chakotay episode. Like, if you didn't know who you were looking at, you wouldn't realize they did do that. So, it's cool, but it's like, it's a taste issue to me, So
Yeah. And my sense is that you're not wrong.
yeah, yeah.
One other
So
thing that you just brought up that I wanted to just kind of touch on, you talked about Mano being accessible. Um, Going back to the family aspects of working in fan films, uh, 2 summers ago we did a fan appreciation weekend in during a May. It was the same weekend that Tales from the Neutral Zone filmed Endosymbiosis, which just went live a couple of days ago. Go watch Endosymbiosis from Neutral Zone Studios. One of the things I got to meet 2 people at that fan appreciation weekend where Endosymbiosis was filmed. That was Chris Doohan and Michelle Specht from Star Trek Continues.
right,
And while we are not in contact often, I consider myself very blessed to be able to say that I enjoy a deep friendship with Chris and Michelle. And now, since he's been doing a little bit of work at the studio with Vic Mignogna as well, I'm not somebody who's starstruck very easily.
right,
The first thing that comes to my mind whenever I meet somebody is, well, how are you doing? And that's true for, thank you, Daniel. That's true for just about anybody that I meet. Is I want to know how you're doing, and I want to know what kind of a person you are so that I can establish a connection with you. I'm interested in what's going on in the moment. And Vic and Chris and Michelle, when I first met them, that's establishing that kind of a relationship seemed second nature to them. And I've been blessed to be able to share the relationship with them. And that's true of the different productions that I've worked on as well. I mean, when you and I remember when you and I met at the Fan Appreciation Weekend like it happened yesterday. And being able to bond with you like that, and then you inviting me to be in Constar was just it was wonderful being able to form this friendship. And I'm thankful that we have it. And I'm thankful for all the friendships that I share with Frank and Gary and Randy and Ray and Royal and all these other people that I have been blessed to work with over the last 2 years. I have made friends that I would never have dreamed of making without this community. And I think that's what, especially in this day and age, what with us dealing with the pandemic and trying to keep ourselves from quite literally going nuts from social distancing and isolation, we're going to be depending on our friendships and depending on a little bit of positive energy from the people that we surround ourselves with. And I think that Star Trek fan film communities have a unique opportunity to foster that. and
Yeah.
I hope that we collectively will.
Well, that's one of the things that, it's, you don't do it for recognition, or at least I don't.
Mhm.
Because certainly, like, nobody really watches my films. I get, a couple hundred hits. That's on a good day. You get, I'm blessed more with the comments. I feel like a lot of people comment, for as many people that watch. I have a very loyal audience, even if not a very large one. But you don't do fan films for, great recognition. You certainly don't do it for, money. I think every time we've gone, we always lose. Like you said, Gary Davis paid for the past two out of his own pocket. I think Gary's been doing that ever since I've met him. It's not uncommon, and it's one of those things where you get by on the um, the love and appreciation of others who are willing to help you out. Like, I know Wolf has built me things, for my productions, just because he built the chair for me for Melbourne, the captain's chair, just because I asked him to. Gary Davis built my computer monitor that I use in almost every film, that I do at home. Just because I didn't have one, and those things. The chair itself would probably be a couple $100, I'm sure. But the dude never charged me for Gary. I'm sure that'd probably be 100, maybe 200, just because it's like, you can't buy that anywhere, but he did it, sent it to me, just because, didn't have to. Gary, he sent me a bunch of his Next Generation uniforms when I didn't have any. This is before I went and asked for donations for people, because I was very apprehensive, because I believe in transparency. Like, if I ever ask for money, hey, this is where it's going, because I don't ever want anyone to think that I'm trying to steal from people, and I feel that I've given enough back, where if I ask for money, you're going to get at least 100 films out of these, um, but
And I think that there's a space too where I'm personally kind of happy that some of the productions that you and I have worked on over the years uh, are what they are, and that we do what
yeah,
we do, and we focus more on the story than making it we polish it the best that we are able to polish it given the resources that we have available, and we don't use resources that we have available because there are, I won't name any names, but there are a few fan film productions out there that have raised a whole bunch of money and then uh, turned out subpar whatever, and then there's some that have turned out, there's been some that we don't know where the money went, but
well,
there's
like I know with Gary, like, he had called me up and asked. He said, "Hey, I'm kind of, do you have this uniform?" Or no, he shot me a Facebook message because I was half asleep when I read it, and I really didn't know what he was talking about. I think at first I think I thought he was hitting on me, because I think he was like, take. I think I misread it. It was like, take off your uniform, and I think I wanted to write back like, "Oh baby," and then I was like, I was like, should probably not respond to the, like, what. But when I read it, I was like, oh, he's asking me if I have a uniform. Oh, okay, I don't know what he's. Wow, I'm glad I didn't respond back to that, or maybe I should have. But I ended up sending, one of the uniforms down for, Randy. Um, but that's the camaraderie that I enjoy. It's not always the case, but it's when you can get that where it needs to be, with all these productions being that way. Because some people have a little bit too much of an ego and they shouldn't. Some people have a little flair for the dramatic. Sometimes it's even me. I've been accused of having it, and sometimes I do. um, I think we're all at fault to that sometimes. But
we're human, and
yeah,
whenever there's humans involved, there's going to be things like that sometimes.
yeah,
And I think it's a testament as to uh, how well we interact in those situations, how quickly we realize those things about ourselves, and how forgivingly we move on as groups and as productions from those things. Because I mean, again, without naming any names, we've seen some productions over the years where ego can just kill it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good the story or the sets are.
Yeah.
Egos and personalities will just fucking kill it.
Well, that's the thing. Like I've dealt with people, that sadly, I think things are going to go one way, and then they go the other way, and it's just like, really, and I'm getting to that age where it's like I don't have time to argue anymore with people. It's just like, if that's the way you want to be, just be that way, and I'm gonna go do my thing. And if you support me, great. If not, fuck off. Because it's like I just don't have time, because at some point it becomes toxic to me. And it's kind of where I was at last night. Like I kind of broke down, and then I kind of realized after talking to a friend, I need to put by some of these things and accept and move on, because it's kind of killing part of my passion. It's killing part of my soul. And I got a beautiful 4-year-old that is wonderful part of my life that, if I don't stop, it's going to taint that relationship with him, unintentionally. It's going to kill my passion for my films unintentionally. It's going to ruin my relationship with the people in the audience unintentionally. And people need to understand that, go out and make your films, do it for you, do it for the right reasons, because if I had listened to negativity in the beginning, I would never have met people like you. To which I have a question.
Yes.
And this has been something that I know that you were hesitant when I brought up the storyline at first. I know you were hesitant. You were like, I don't really know. But
Yeah.
be candid. Be candid. Be like, no, fat man, this is fucking sucks. I can't stand. But when I first brought up, hey, this is kind of what we're going to do with this character. And then I brought up, hey, how about this? And what do you think fully of the story arc we have with your character, scene where we're at in the beginning of the film, and then we get all the way to the end, and knowing kind of what we want to do when we do return to the studio? Because the audience doesn't know where we're going yet with what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of your character's story arc? Because my character is kind of a douchebag to you.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll give some additional background to that. I
Sure.
do remember when you asked me that, and I read the script that you had sent me, and the first thing that popped in my mind when I started reading the script for Young was, man, this is a little bit more dark than I'm accustomed to acting for. And it's like, I don't know how I feel about, I don't know if I can play something this dark. And this, because it starts out with a relationship that is pretty tight and pretty cohesive. And then as Menard starts going down the path that he's going down, Young gets a little bit more jaded as time goes on, and turns it into he turns it into an internalized mission for himself to get at the truth. And it gets pretty dark, and you watch a friendship devolve between two people who enjoyed a pretty good amount of trust between each other. And I did not know if I could pay homage to that. But as a writer and director of these stories, one of the gracious things that you did for me when you cast me as Young is you gave me the levity and the opportunity to bring to that character what I thought that would work well for Young, and work well in that interaction. And what it ended up being was that you gave me the opportunity to drive the same internalized mission that Young developed for himself, while still not presenting the idea that it was eating him alive on camera. And I was so grateful that you gave me that levity to play into that role. So I don't know if that answers the question or not, but that's what that I've evolved as an actor right along with Young as a character,
Yeah. Well,
and I expect I will continue to do so.
well, I think from the way, the first set of episodes, I think you appeared in the first set of films that we did. I think you were in 3 films, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
You were in Break Free, you were in The Situation Room,
Room.
and then you were in
Uh,
I forget the final one. Again,
I
terrible with names.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm terrible with names. um, but you see a quick evolution of that. But you see it scattered through, over several years, so you can kind of forgive the fact that it jumps, but you understand
Sure.
why things jump. And the one thing that I really loved about these last set of films that we were able to put out was that we did 2 more films with you, where you where you see, um, we kind of plugged and played with your character to be like, hey, here's this. And where, the distrust is starting to kind of come there, where you're very much like, hey, so I heard this, and Nard's like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
bye. And
Okay.
and you play it so much like, dude, why won't you talk to me, and it's very relatable. And then years later, when, like, this guy who comes to you who's investigating, and you've got all this information, but you don't quite have that missing piece, and then you put it all together, and that leads to the last episode where you understand why this dude's pissed. and
Yeah.
and when you watch all of those in order, it really tells the full story of you, to where now why this dude is just, you motherfucker, and I love the fact that, again, the stories weren't written in the very beginning that way, but I knew that's where I really wanted the story to go with you, and you did such a wonderful job of portraying that. And I knew, when I told you in the beginning, I said I really want this to be like in Smallville, where I'm Clark, you're Lex. This is our, if Clark had trusted Lex in the beginning, would Lex have been the bad guy? And that's what I want for you and me. And I know, for me, I was like, I feel like this is a tough sell for Eli. I hope I do him justice, because for me, anytime an actor's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I owe it to them to do good, because if I feel like they are happy with what's presented, then I'm happy. So, like, go
Well,
ahead.
I'll give you a little bit of backstory as to where I was coming from an actor. It's not even from an acting standpoint.
Sure.
Um, I don't know how many people we have of a certain age that are currently on the stream or who will be watching this later after it posts to
Sure.
YouTube as a recorded video. But one of the things that I had the distinct pleasure of being a part of about 22 years ago now. Oh my God, 22 years? Jesus, I'm old. But back in the day when Star Trek.com was just getting started, this is back when it was still affiliated with the newly formed MSN website from Microsoft. StarTrek.com was a part of the MSN family that was sponsored by Microsoft at the time, and there was a role-playing game that was associated with that site called Star Trek: A Call to Duty, and we played it on the old IRC chat channels. And I joined up with Star Trek: A Call to Duty, and we did some pretty elaborate text-based role-play games, where such that we were actors responsible for making up our own dialogue in the course of a role play. And then we had a game master, which was a lot like the dungeon master in Dungeons and Dragons, that would throw different things at us that we had to react to. And I had the opportunity to play a couple of different characters within those role-playing games. I played a character that I arrogantly named after myself, because I just wasn't creative with character names at that point. But I played on what was known as the USS Pharaoh, which was a Defiant class vessel in that role play game. And I made him a nice guy. And through every game that I played on Star Trek: A Call to Duty, it was always these nice guys. And I got used to playing these nice guys in the realm of Star Trek Landia. So that was another thing that playing young challenged me to do, was to be able, it challenged me as like, well, if you're going to be a legitimate actor and you are going to be able to interact with these stories in ways that will appeal to a broad audience, then you can't be a nice guy all the time. Sometimes you may wind up being a dick, and
Yeah.
I've got to be able to play to that. And
Yeah.
that's what Young has done for me. I mean, not every character is going to be Commander Irvin from the Pharaoh, or Commander Jed Davis from another one of the ships, the USS Nova from A Call to Duty. They're not all going to be like that.
Right.
And so thank you for that. That I will be grateful to you for that for a long time, is you getting me to, encouraging me to look at this other side of my character and my acting ability.
Well, I tell you, man, it's you know, watching, watching your movies in succession. Um, it's heartbreaking, because you and I don't talk every day. We don't have that type of relationship, but I do feel that when I do talk to you, it's we pick right back where we left off, or
Yeah.
where we left off. And I do have that love for you, like I do a cousin, or a lot, a far off family member, and it's heartbreaking because I don't see Eli the friend. I see Young the character. You've sold me on that, especially by the time that you look at the camera and you can see the hurt in your eyes when Menard, Menard's shutting him out. He doesn't want to talk to him. He doesn't, and I
Yeah.
can see the hurt, and it's painful. And then in the following film, when all the information's laid out there, and you're putting all these things, and at that moment, like, you're restrained, but you can tell, like, the rage is there. It's boiling. It's like you're like a caged fucking animal. You're waiting to go off. And I tell you, in that moment, I was sold. I knew that was the right story for the right character for the right actor. I mean, I knew you were perfect for Young anyway. But that right there, I was like, this dude is fucking genius, because you had me completely sold, and I loved it. I was the only thing that I was like, man, I wish I could be in a scene with him, because, man, like, oh shit, this is great, because you were wonderful, and it was
Well,
heartbreaking at the same time, because to know Menard has caused this, and again, it's one of those things where it's like, Menard's not the bad guy, and your guy's not the bad guy. It's just a matter of perspective. And that was the whole point of all of these different films, was to show, hey, intent doesn't necessarily mean that's where you're going to end up. It's a matter of perspective. Who's right, who's wrong? That's not for us to say. Um,
mm-hmm.
and I really wanted to put that last movie that you were in, continuity wise, the last movie where you're yelling at me. I wanted to put that in a different context, because
Yeah.
you now know everything, and you're seeing it in a different light than you did the first go round. And for someone who, like me, who has no budget, that's kind of all you have is, hey, now you can watch this movie and go back and see it in the other one's in a different light now, and you see that in a completely different perspective. And because of how talented you are as an actor, um, you sell the character. So I thank you for being part of the Constar. I'm glad you're part of Dominion. I'm glad you're working with both studios when you can. I'm glad you're part of the fan film community, and I'm blessed that you were with me tonight. I said I'd hold you only for a half hour. Yeah, it's been an hour and 8 minutes. I thank you, and your friendship. I'm fucking blessed, dude.
Not as blessed as I am, I think. I am. I don't mind telling you that I am so thankful that you and I met. Every time we talk and every time we get together for a production, I am so glad that I found this community. because it has given me a creative outlet and it's given me some wonderful friends. And I am so pleased to count you among them.
Well, I can say, my friend, when COVID is over and we're able to get back on the ship, before we launch the first roll of film, you've got a big hug waiting, because you know
Ditto.
it's for so long of not being able to touch most people, fuck it, you got a hug waiting, man, because I fucking love you, man, and
Love you
it's
too. And
no bullshit. So
all my love to Mona and to Royce. I know that these months, now a year, have been just as tough on them. Thanks, Scott. God love you, brother. Hope to see you soon. Ian, thank you. Yeah, it's all my love to Mona and Royce as well. They're your world, and you are theirs.
yeah.
And I thank you for letting me be a part of your family and just being there.
Well, I hope one of these times you'll be able to bring Jay, because I want to meet him.
Yes.
I mean, every time we talk, you're always like, I'm always asking, you're always telling, and one of these times, like, you got to get him on there, because damn it, I want to meet him.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer and closer, because I won't go over. I know we're way over time, but I'll tell you, when we first met, we were kind of a house divided, because Jay was a diehard Whovian and had no interest in Star Trek. I was a diehard Trekkie and had no interest in Doctor Who. And we had to meet in the middle and find out where we were going with our two fandoms. And we have come to some middle ground. And one of our goals is he is now interested in coming down and being present for some shoots. And one of these days, when we save up enough money to be able to do it, once COVID passes, I want to get involved with at least once, maybe twice, with the Doctor Who fan film community, and go over to England and participate in a couple of Doctor Who fan films, which Jay would absolutely adore. And so, so that's a thing for the future. But yeah, I'm dying to bring Jay down, because he's the kind of guy that lights up the room, and he doesn't meet an enemy, and he meets absolutely everybody where they are. And I'm looking forward to sharing all this love with him too.
See, that's the type of people the fan film community needs. That's just the type of people the world needs. Is people who are just good-hearted, live and let live type. And it's so hard to fucking do with the toxicity out there. We just need, after the past year that we've all had, and I don't care what side of whatever spectrum you're on or whatever you're feeling for whatever, like, I think it's just been draining on all of us, and we just need, I forget who said it earlier, but, into big hugs. I think we all just need that one big hug, just be like, it's going to be okay. Let's just go forward. But with that in mind, we're gonna cut it, because I feel like, if at this point I feel like we could go 2 hours, and I don't want to do that to you because you've had a busy day. But
it's fine.
But Eli,
thank you for the honor of having me on Pizza Rolls. I hope we get to do it again soon.
Well, my friend, you are always welcome. You know that. I'll always take time for you, man. Whether it's Pizza Roll Diaries, whether it's Constar, whether it's a phone call, a bird with a note, smoke signals, I don't care. I'll hear from you anytime.
I'll send you a pizza to the house.
Dude!
I'll send you a pizza.
That's it. I don't
marker in the lid.
I like it. I like it. See, now you're talking my language. Jay, you better watch out. I'm gonna steal this one from you. You bring a pizza, I don't know. So, that being said, Michael King says, take it easy, Eli, and thanks for the interview.
Michael, how great to see you. Love you, brother. Absolutely love you.
Everybody at home, thank you all for joining. Appreciate you guys coming. And with everything in mind, be genuine, be safe, And keep on geeking on, guys.
And practice hello human kindness. Y'all be well.
Yes. Yes.